Now coming to the specifics of your own CSR programs, I know such an inspiring programs. Having studied ourselves, it could be Nanikali, your scholarship program that you have been doing from decades, helping students, youth from underprivileged sector to scale new height. But can you take us through your experience in planning and implementing those CSR programs in Titan?
Sure, I'll be very happy to do that. And I'm only echoing my team, okay? And let me, because we all do it together, and we don't have a hierarchy saying that I speak or somebody else speaks. The first and the foremost thing when I said earlier that, and I want to reinforce that we will not do things which will say that it will pay back to the company. We are doing CSR because we are Titan, not because we do that and we want to earn the brand name. Okay, so that philosophy is embedded with all of us. Second, and the most important thing is we said we will innovate, we will co-create with partners. And therefore, we were very clear, and we want to be very clear even in future. What will the company bring to the table and what will the partners bring to the table? We have a vision, we have a dream, but in this sector, we want to create some discernible difference. And therefore, with this vision and dream, we will look at partners who can probably work with us to create and help the dream come true. And in what sense? What does Titan bring to the table? Titan brings to the table professionalism. Titan brings to the table the Tata Group and Titan's values, ethics, and philosophy. It brings a strong process understanding, culture, and quality, and stuff like that. It brings in understanding of governance significantly from the corporate perspective. It brings in a significant understanding on how to create plans, how to work out strategies, and all this stuff. It has a vision, it has a dream. Now, therefore, it also has, and a company like Titan, success is because it works with partners. It works as franchises to make their business success. That is the strength. And therefore, we know whom to identify. We know whom to work with. With this, we will identify partners. If Titan has identified and worked with a partner called SVYM, that means we know that in the available system, SVYM is the best for us to achieve what we want to achieve in our vision and dream of affirmative action. Like this, if we want to work with a girl child program, we know how to identify what goes in identifying the best partner. It could be KC Mahindra Trust Nanikali, or it could be IAMFACT. If we have to work with something in a place like education or whatever it is in a place like Yadgir or one of the backward locations, we know it is a Tata Trust or Kalike who work with us. So the strength of Titan is what we bring to the table, and we respect the strength of what the partners bring in. Titan does not know how to educate the girl child, but Titan has a vision. KCMT knows how to educate the girl child. When we sit across, we can create a winning strategy. Titan knows affirmative action, what it means, but Titan does not know how to work with a tribal child. But Titan knows whom to identify and how to identify the partner to work with, and therefore SVYM or somebody else whom we work with. And that is the formula for success. I should not, and my team, I told, we are very, very clear. We don't know the development sector. We know how it works, but we are not experts in the community, and let's stay there. We respect people who bring that. And once that happens, the chances of longevity, chance of sustainability is extremely high. And that's something, foremost thing from beginning till now we follow. Point number 2, we also push the NGOs and partners in many places. We will not accept status quo. We will say that, yes, this is what you're doing. Can we do something beyond? Can we do something beyond? And if you have to take just this same one example of SVYM, in the first couple of years, we discussed and said, okay, we will support class 10. Then I said, no, sorry, we will not stop here. What are you guys doing beyond class 10? We want to push that lever. Make sure you continue beyond that. Make sure you get a skilling going on them. Make sure you get them going on to higher education. Make sure that you have indices of performance to clear them in class 10. Then make sure we build capacity. So how do we build capacity? Then we said, let's look at teacher training program. So constantly, year on year, we are restless to create value in this whole education chain for the affirmative action, or what we call as perhaps the most marginalized, oppressed community. It could be scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, Dalits, Adivasis, any bracket you put them is a clear affirmative action policy and principle of the Tata Group. I've answered your 4th question right now. Okay? And that is one example of how we stay, how we push the partners. We don't agree, we come, we meet, we say that do this for us, let us do this, let us try out. It's okay to fail. That's the 3rd important principle. First thing I said, how we go about, what we bring to the table, how do we respect each other, what competencies to bring in. The 4th is, it's okay to fail. Even NGOs will fail, we also will fail. let us stand up and run. I know very clearly with certain partners, they said, no, a couple of lakhs went here, went there. I said, what did you learn? We will move on. It's okay to fail. And that's what I'm saying is what Titan is strongly built on. We encourage failures. We want to move on. This corporate-like thinking, I want to repeat to all people who are here, we want to embed, and we are trying our best to embed in the NGOs and partners. Corporate-like thinking is different than corporate thinking, than business thinking. I don't want them to be business thinking, but a corporate-like thinking. These 4 or 5 parameters, what I mentioned, is corporate-like thinking, professionalism, governance, ethics, processes, systems, quality, strategy, performance. And that is what we bring to the table. You bring to the table your best understanding of how this nomadic girl or boy has to be tapped in to educate that person. That is the winning formula, and corporate-like thinking we constantly drive. I'm just pausing here to probably hear out some questions, because this is the foundation what we've been laid out in the first 2 to 3 years, and really did not worry. We explored with multiple partners. A couple of them we dropped and decided to move on because we realized the fundamentals of all our programs is ethics and governance. If that fails, we will probably pause out. We'll say, no, sorry, we can come back to you again, but we don't want this to be at any point compromised. And that's the fundamentals of our entire Titan and the data group. We can compromise. You lost 5 lakhs because probably somewhere something didn't work out, or maybe something went costly. We're not worried about that. There is a failure in ethics or any of those beliefs, we will pause at that point in time. And we'll say, come back, we will discuss at some point where you're comfortable, where I'm comfortable. I'm just pausing here, and I'll take you through some of these programs, maybe after hear you out, or maybe there is some questions on them, because this is the soundness and the strength of where we have started and where we will continue going forward.
I would only wish every implementing agency get a partner who says it's okay to fail. Thank you for encouraging your partners with that, kind of a strength. Actually, it takes a lot of humility and courage to say, I don't know. In fact, this is one of the major lacking thing in corporate as well as in the implementation power, particularly mostly in corporate. I agree that, so you are an expert in some area, need not be an expert in every developmental area. And it is important to recognize the suitable partner who have been working from decades, gained experience through their mistakes and learning in the field. That's, I think, what you recognize that as a key to success of Titan.
Absolutely.
That's something interesting. And importantly, understanding the strength. It's all about partnership, and partnership will only sustain when we complement with our own strengths. That's something is the key what I can take from your sharing. But because we are on the partnership area, I also often hear while interacting with many corporate leaders is there are a lot of challenges to work with implementation agencies. They don't know, lack of professionalism, it could be lack of training and exposure could be. We always say those who are from the development sector, we are emotionally connected rather than rationally connected or thinking to the community. What has been your experiences? What are the challenges initially you had to go through and you could somehow work around it in the larger interest?
I'll share 2 personal experiences on this. When I was exploring in the first couple of years in 13, 14, and I used to interact with some of well-known partners. Okay, and it could be Tata Trust or even with SPYM or even with anyone. The first thing is our own humility, which is the criticality of. I mean, I'm very proud to say, being part of the Tata Group, that's the most important value system I cherish, is to first figure out and understand what it is all about. Because, the pushback always is, corporate don't understand the concept. Fine, so we have to learn. It's fair that we learn. We don't need to expertise. I went to a couple of locations. No program is started off without understanding. At least understanding what are we getting into, not necessarily figuring out what we need to be doing. So, it took some time for us to understand what does it mean. I remember when I went to Uttarakhand, and we have actually a lot of programs in Uttarakhand, and when we were discussing about a project of that floods when it happened. And we said, like, let's not just keep looking at relief work, let's start looking at something long-term rehabilitation. And we started discussing the trust, and they took me out to a very long walk and very far away village, and then said, this is where all the orchards and this and have been destroyed. And then they showed me that we are looking at some sample trees, some 10 of those apple trees. They showed me small saplings. And then when they came back and then said, no, I said, okay, fine, tell me what is the project, what do you want to do? It was very interesting. And then they said, no, it will cost some few lakhs or what. I said, what? I sapling must be some 150 rupees. Why are you charging so much and all this? Then the MD of that partner explained to me what it means. It is not about that 150 rupees for sapling. It is what goes around that which makes this work. That has been my turning point of what we need to understand before even jumping into it. It is before even making assumptions that why am I charged so much for I'm charged. And that learning every year in every project makes us a bit more wiser. Have we become best? No. From then to last week, we had a review with one of the very large partners, over the years. Before even we started, the partners started acknowledging all those things like, if not for Titan, we would have not even seen this, not even, that's all fine. But we also picked up some 2-3 things. One of those 2-3 things from what they came in from, that they are getting significantly impacted by the changes because of the Companies Act, which, in fact, they came to discuss only that. But that is one part. The second important part is also the learning is, when I said it's okay to fail, the very same partner, the national, in fact, international partner, he says, sorry, sir, we couldn't achieve the numbers, what we meant, and this is what a statistics. I said, so what? He said, so what? It is like sales figures, 1 year in the pandemic year, nobody achieved what targets in sales they got planned. It's okay. So unless that is business-like thinking, there may be 15 reasons what they did not do. Now that's very important. When I say failure is one of this nature. The other one is accepting reality and making sure that it's done. The only problem and the only issue what we have been facing, and I used this word in the recent past, we are 2 full years into the pandemic, okay? 2 full years, that's why it's called COVID-19. COVID-19, we know it's 19 December varieties, The problem of this is in year 1, and I want to make this clear, even many partners, in year 1, pandemic was a solid reason, companies, corporates, NGOs, the whole country, there was a reason for many things which did not go away the way we planned, whether it was a community or vendors or associates or dealers, anybody. My only point is in year 2, unfortunately, it became more an excuse than a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's not becoming a reason anymore. It's becoming an excuse for low performance or non-performance. So here and now we are trying to say, hey, look, what did year 1 teach us? What did year 1 tell us? Then the usual answers started coming in. No, we tried technology, which sector did not try technology? Tell me. Every sector tried technology, online, tab, and all those things. So, yeah. So therefore, you found a way to respond. So you did not have any more reason, but you started giving excuses. Now that is not acceptable. So therefore, that is how we are now trying to bring them back. And we are not keeping quiet on this. We are pushing them constantly. Don't give me any more excuses. Have a solid reason, I understand. You had attrition of 40%, I understand. No, don't start giving me pandemic. We took more work from home than this, that, etc. The whole world was working. The whole world is moving forward. There is the next point of corporate learning called risk taking. No NGOs are willing to take risk. Very little risks. I can understand, empathize, appreciate from where they're coming from, but in the world of understanding the development and moving forward and earning the right to be on the right side of companies, corporates, foundations, trusts, it's important for them also to realize and start taking risks. Risks not from the point of view of risk for failure, but risk to say we can also succeed and move forward. Now, this is very, very important. As a corporate learning, they should also start knowing and then say move forward and then say no, that like we're all not going to the field anymore. Next 6 months we say we can keep doing that. There has been equal number of NGOs partners, so done it in different ways. Technology is one way of doing this. There are people who have done it in very, very innovative way of reaching out to children if you have to do it. There's an organization called SPY who pulled out all the class 10 students into a place called VLEAD and then gave them education And they found a way to do it. You could have easily said, no, be at your homes, and then we will do whatever tab, etc. So there is a possible things, and therefore I don't want partners to use the reason as an excuse going forward, including year 2 or maybe going forward in year 3. This is a sea shift. This we need to get going and make the partners. I will pull up the partners. We will pull up the partners in a very professional way and say, look, now let's move on. Let's move on, find ways to address these things. We will be with you to address those things. That's the confidence, yet challenging them. Both needs to be done.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's interesting. Risk for development, I would say. So we NGOs really need to have the appetite to take risk, not for anything else, but to see the change in the community they work for. Come what may, we achieve the goal. That should be the attitude of NGOs or any other implementation partner for that matter. Thanks for sharing that thought. Actually, you mentioned about.
That's the last one point. This whole dimension, and I think I would have pushed every organization or NGO. Their mindset on one particular aspect has not still changed.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at corporates still as people who give donation. Now, I keep pushing them. If you don't, we are calling you partner from day one. You are hesitating to call us as partner. You are still saying that donor, and now NGOs and big names in this development sector have started creating what is called donor relationship management and managers and gentlemen. Now, like I just told this person with international organization, unless you change the designation of this person to partner relationship management, I'm not going to talk to you, because it changes the mindset. You're not seeing me more as just a person who writes a check and gives you. You are actually pushing me and then saying that be with me, and then in my way I fall down or run or whatever it is and help you to do this. Many partners are still not doing that. They still believe that you're a donor and your job is to give me money and my job is to do what I want, and then we'll give you all those reports, etc. because company tax system. This is another change I wish to see faster happening. They like to talk about it, but when it comes down, it just doesn't move on.
Wonderful.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's important. It's not only a financial resource. Corporate can offer many resources. It could be knowledge, it's intellectual, it is their technical expertise in implementing the project. So need to look at as a partner.
Absolutely. And I learned it from Balu. Let me be very clear. Balu said, I don't want your money. I want you to be here. In your own very opposite room where you are sitting in that room, the first meeting, 13, 14, he said, I don't want Titan's money. I want Titan to be present here and be with me, learn and understand what we do. And I have no qualms in saying that I learned this from SPY and Founder Balu. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Where I quote this, don't see us as this, but look at this, and we have much more to offer. You might find me or my team in the field and interacting with whether it is the MD of that NGO or a partner, or whether it is the beneficiary who's in Terry Dam and those places where we work with people. That's how we seamlessly become a partner and not just saying that with the corporate of Mumbai, third quarter report kahan hai.
Interesting. Thank you so much for recognizing that and your words of acknowledgement and recognition.